long story short, we started Thrillist like 6 years ago. Any Thrillist readers? Hopefully, cool, great. We built a content brand that engaged a bunch of guys. We launched a bunch of cities. We built a nice advertising business. Everyone was happy. And 3 years ago, we woke up and said, what the hell are we doing? The world has changed. And forever, we created content that led people to go and do things. We wrote about a restaurant, people made a reservation. We wrote about a clothing store, people bought shit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we saw businesses around us like the Gilt Groups and the Groupons go and build a different kind of business where instead of making money at the top of the purchasing funnel, they sat at the bottom and they actually monetized a transaction. And that sucked for us, but was very cool for those other people. And we got jealous and we knew we needed to get into commerce and complete that transaction and sort of that experience for our user and provide a deeper level of service. And so we bought a company called JackThreads. The beauty of JackThreads was that they were actually selling clothing from brands that we were only familiar with because we had read about them on Thrillist. And they really, it was the supply to the demand that we had built. And very quickly after we bought the business, the guys that we sort of Thrillist readers became JackThreads buyers. What was not expected was that the JackThreads buyer became the Thrillist reader, and we had this virtuous cycle, and both businesses started growing faster. That gave us the confidence to launch another product called Thrillist Rewards, which is basically taking Thrillist content and adding a click-to-buy button at the end of it. It takes the businesses that we work with on the local level that have tasted the drug, that know what it's like to get featured by Thrillist and see that bump in their business, and allows us to find another way to work with them where we actually create experiences on the ground, really content-driven experiences. This isn't, $10 for $20 of shitty pizza. This is like a cool experience that speaks to a very specific kind of person and sits somewhere between JackThreads, which originally was pure commerce, and Thrillist, which is pure content. And the real sort of kicker and the thing that I think we've learned over the last year from when we were here to today is that we're really just at the cusp of what we can do and what I think all media companies can do and frankly are going to have to do. Advertising is becoming commoditized. It is too easy to be a publisher. There is so much inventory, it's mind-boggling. And I know all of you guys know that, and finding ways to do innovative things and break through and reach consumers is becoming, there's more and more options, which is cool, but it's also becoming more and more difficult because there's so much noise. And I really do believe that finding a model where you build trust on the content side and move people over to commerce is the future. And traditional media brands talk about commerce a lot, but at the end of the day, they're scared shitless of it. They don't understand what holding inventory means. They don't understand what fulfillment is. And I think the reason we've been successful is that we have taken that leap and taken that risk and said we're not just about creating content and selling advertising, but we're about taking the trust that we've built and finding ways to provide another level of service for our guys. And it's worked out really well for us, and it's worked out not just because it's made us more money, but it's really driven a deeper level of engagement. And you can tell by looking at the data that our guys care more about what we're doing because we're completing the experience for them. And the one thing that Piers really wanted me to talk about today was the future, which I failed to do during my 5 minutes. But right now, we have a brand that does a really good job selling fashion to guys and a good job covering food and drink on the local level. And we've built a cool business doing it. But I really think the future for us is about figuring out other interest areas for the guys that we speak to that are valuable and that have intent built into them. So looking at consumer electronics, looking at travel, looking at verticals where the content leads to an action is going to be the future for us. And I believe it really needs to be the future for media companies in general. Advertising alone isn't going to do it, and you need to find ways to create new revenue streams and provide deeper service, and I think that's what we're doing. So I don't know if I went over, I don't know if I went under. Love you guys.